First contact and fatal mistake. High Commander Talax of the Vistran hegemony surveyed the holographic star map with his 4 eyes narrowed in calculation. The newly conquered sectors glowed with the purple light of Vistran dominion, a testament to their latest campaign of expansion. Magnificent, isn't it? Purred his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Tevik. 17 new systems brought into the light of civilization in less than a solar cycle. Talax's lightless mouth twitched in what passed for a smile among his species. The Vistrans had been expanding their empire for over 3 centuries, bringing order to what they considered the chaotic frontiers of the galaxy. Their philosophy was simple. Lesser species required guidance. Those who accepted Vistran rule prospered as servants. Those who resisted were removed. "What's this anomaly?" Talax asked, pointing a long, 6-jointed finger at a cluster of stars near the edge of their new territory. The tactical officer, Merrick, zoomed in on the sector. "We've detected artificial structures on 3 planets in this region, High Commander. Initial scans indicate a young spacefaring species. They call themselves humans." Humans. Talax tested the unfamiliar word. "Have they acknowledged our territorial claims?" "They have not, High Commander," Merrick replied. "Our diplomatic probes were ignored. Our boundary markers were dismantled. They continue to expand their settlements." "Interesting," Talax murmured. "Show me their homeworld." The hologram shifted to display a blue-green planet with swirling white clouds. "Designation: Earth," Merrick explained. "A Class M world, 3rd planet from its star. Heavily industrialized, but shows minimal orbital defenses. Their technology appears approximately 2 centuries behind our standard." "Military capabilities?" Talax inquired. "Primitive," Sub-Commander Tevik interjected. "Their fleet consists of only 23 vessels capable of faster-than-light travel. Their weapons are kinetic and nuclear. No gravitic weaponry, no phase disruptors. Their colonies are essentially undefended." As Talax stared at the image of Earth, his external membranes pulsing with thought. "They ignore our claims and yet possess insufficient means to defend themselves. Curious. Shall we initiate standard diplomatic protocols?" Merrick asked. Talax's membrane fluttered in negation. "No. These humans must learn their place in the galactic order. Prepare a punitive expedition. Target their colonial outposts, New Horizon, Proxima Eden, and Ta Libra Station. A direct assault." Tevik seemed surprised, without formal declaration. "Sometimes the most effective message requires no words," Talax responded. 3 strikes, simultaneous and overwhelming. We'll demonstrate our power, then accept their surrender." Within 12 hours, a Vistran battle group consisting of 3 assault carriers and their escort vessels departed for human space. The plan was elegant in its simplicity: strike without warning, obliterate the colonial infrastructure, and withdraw before Earth could respond. The resulting shock would surely bring the humans to the negotiation table as a properly submissive species. The assault went perfectly. Vistran warships materialized above the 3 human colonies, their translucent hulls shimmering like oil on water as they dropped out of hyperspace. Particle beams lanced downward, targeting power stations, spaceports, and government centers. Precision strikes designed to maximize terror while minimizing casualties. The Vistran way. From the command deck of his flagship, the Resolute Dominion, Talax watched the streams of data flowing in. New Horizon, 84% of infrastructure destroyed, estimated 7,200 casualties. Proxima Eden, 91% destruction, approximately 6,500 dead. Ta Libra, 87% destruction, roughly 5,100 fatalities. Magnificent execution, Tevik praised, her dorsal spines rising in excitement. Less than 20,000 casualties to secure our borders. The Council will be pleased with such efficiency. Talax wasn't so certain. What's the response from Earth? Nothing, High Commander, Merrick reported. Their communication satellites continue normal broadcasts. Their vessels remain in their previous positions. There's no indication they've even registered our attack. Impossible. Salax hissed. The strikes concluded over 4 hours ago. Perhaps their communication technology is slower than we estimated, Tevik suggested. Or perhaps they're more disciplined than we expected. Salax countered. Continue monitoring all frequencies. Another hour passed before the main communication array activated. Incoming transmission, Merrick announced. Origin, Earth. Tight beam, directed specifically at our command vessel. How did they locate us? Tevik whispered. Put it through, Salax ordered, ignoring her question. The holographic display shifted, and Salax found himself looking at a human. It appeared female by their dimorphic standards, with dark skin and silver-streaked hair pulled tightly back from her face. She wore a simple gray uniform devoid of ornamentation or rank insignia. I am Admiral Chen of the Terran Defense Force, she stated without preamble, her voice calm and measured. To whom am I speaking? Hexelax stepped forward. I am High Commander Xalax of the Vistran Hegemony. Your colonies were destroyed by my order as punishment for your illegal settlements in Hegemony territory. I see, Admiral Chen nodded slightly. And was the Hegemony aware that these territories had been surveyed and claimed by Earth over 30 years ago, long before your people arrived in this sector? Prior claims are irrelevant, Salax replied stiffly. The Hegemony has established dominion over this region. Your settlements were therefore illegal and subject to removal. Interesting perspective, Chen said, her expression unchanging. High Commander, I'm contacting you to inform you of something your intelligence services have evidently missed. And what would that be? Humanity has a saying, let sleeping dragons lie. It means don't disturb dangerous forces that are currently at rest. Chen's calm demeanor never wavered, which somehow made her words all the more unsettling. Your attack killed 18,743 civilians, including 4,126 children. An unfortunate necessity, Salax responded. Accept hegemony authority, and no further action will be required. You misunderstand me, Commander. For the first time, Chen smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. I'm not negotiating. I'm warning you. You've just woken the dragons. The transmission cut abruptly. What in the 7 moons is a dragon? Tevik asked, mandibles clicking with nervous energy. Merrick consulted the ship's database. A mythological creature from human folklore. A winged, fire-breathing reptile, often depicted guarding treasure or destroying armies. Symbolizes power and destruction in many human cultures. Primitive superstition, Tevik scoffed. They're trying to intimidate us with bedtime stories. Kazalax wasn't convinced. Increase long-range scans. I want to know the moment any human vessel changes position. High Commander. The sensor officer's voice cut through the command deck. We're detecting unusual activity in Earth's orbital infrastructure. Explain, Salax demanded. They're satellites. They're going dark. One by one. The holographic display shifted to show Earth from one of their stealth observation platforms. The planet looked normal at first, spinning serenely, surrounded by the usual clutter of orbital habitats and communication arrays. Then a satellite winked out, then another, and another. What are they doing? Tevik whispered. They're shutting down their entire communication network, Merrick said, bewildered. Even their primitive radio transmissions are ceasing. Why would they blind themselves? Tevik asked. Xelax felt a cold sensation spread through his central nervous cluster. They're not blinding themselves. They're denying us intelligence. The command deck fell into uneasy silence as they watched Earth go dark, sector by sector, like a giant creature closing its eyes. High Commander. The sensor officer's voice rose with alarm. Energy signatures detected from Earth's moon. Their moon. Salax turned. There's nothing on their moon but research outposts and mining operations. The display zoomed toward the lunar surface, the dark side of the moon. perpetually hidden from Earth, was suddenly alive with activity. Massive hangar doors were opening in what had appeared to be natural craters. "Those aren't research outposts," Merrick whispered. From the lunar hangars emerged ships, not the clumsy utilitarian vessels humans were known to use for interplanetary travel. These were sleek, predatory-looking warships with aggressive lines. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. "Impossible," Tevik breathed. "Our intelligence said they had 23 warships." "No," Salax corrected grimly. "Our intelligence said they had 23 known warships." The lunar fleet continued to grow, ships of all sizes taking formation in the void above the moon's cratered surface. Most disturbing of all was their design. Each vessel bore stylized markings along their hulls resembling mythological creatures. "Dragons," Merrick whispered. "High Commander. Similar launches detected from Mars, and from multiple asteroids in their belt," the sensor officer reported, voice rising in pitch. They're everywhere." Zelex's tactical training kicked in. "Send an emergency transmission to the High Council. Inform them that human military capabilities have been severely underestimated. Request immediate reinforcements." "Transmission sent," the communications officer confirmed. "But there's no acknowledgement." "Try again," Salax ordered. "All channels." No response. Could they be jamming us already? At this distance, Tevik's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. "Unknown technology, unknown capabilities, unknown numbers," Salax muttered. "We need to withdraw to the hyperspace junction and report directly to the High Council." "Commander." "Massive energy spike from Earth's moon," the sensor officer shouted. The observation platform's feed showed Earth's moon beginning to move, not in its usual orbital path, but away from Earth, accelerating at a rate that defied all logic. "That's not possible," Tevik stammered. "A natural satellite can't just—" "It's not a natural satellite," Salax realized with dawning horror. "Or at least, it's not only a natural satellite. The moon, or what they had believed to be the moon, continued its impossible acceleration, the surface cracking in places to reveal metallic structures beneath. Not a hollow moon, Salax realized, but a moon that had been converted into something else entirely. "All ships, battle stations," Salax commanded. "Prepare for immediate." The command deck shook violently as proximity alarms blared. Multiple vessels dropping out of FTL directly ahead. Merrick shouted, "Configuration unknown. Energy signatures off the charts." The holographic display shifted to show what was happening outside. Zelex's heart nearly stopped. Against the backdrop of stars hung ships of a design he had never seen before. They were massive, easily dwarfing the Vistran battle cruisers. Their hulls were a deep matte black that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. And they were shaped like dragons. The lead vessel was particularly massive, its prow fashioned into the shape of a snarling reptilian head. Along its flanks, what appeared to be weapon ports glowed with inner fire, like the creature was preparing to exhale flame. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer announced, voice quavering. Admiral Chen appeared once more on the holographic display. She was now standing on what was clearly the command deck of the massive dragon-shaped vessel. Behind her, humans in black uniforms operated consoles with practiced efficiency. "High Commander Salax," she said pleasantly, as if they were continuing a conversation over tea. "I believe I was telling you about dragons. The awakening and reckoning." "What is this?" Salax demanded, mandibles quivering despite his effort to maintain composure. "These vessels were not in any of our intelligence reports." "Of course not," Admiral Chen replied with that same unnerving smile. "The Guardian Initiative operates on a need-to-know basis, and until today, you didn't need to know. You claim to be peaceful explorers," Tevik hissed accusingly. "Your public transmissions, your diplomatic overtures to other species, all speak of cooperation and scientific advancement. And we meant every word. Chen nodded. Humanity genuinely desires peaceful coexistence with all sentient beings. We're explorers and builders at heart. Her expression hardened. But we're not fools. Earth has a long, bloody history of stronger powers subjugating the weak. We learned from our mistakes. Galactic studied the massive vessels surrounding his fleet. There were at least 30 of them now, each bristling with weapon ports that glowed with barely contained energy. His tactical mind rapidly calculated odds of survival if they engage. These Guardians, he said carefully. What are they? Admiral Chen gestured around her command deck. The culmination of a century of preparation. When humanity first reached for the stars, we harbored no illusions about what we might find. The universe is vast and ancient. We knew we weren't likely to be the strongest or most advanced species. The holographic display split, showing footage of massive construction facilities, hidden within asteroids, within gas giant moons, within the very fabric of what appeared to be Earth's lunar surface. So we prepared, Chen continued. Every colony ship we sent carried with it the seeds of a guardian. Every research outpost hid a weapons laboratory. Every mining operation extracted materials for our true fleet. Deception, Tevik spat. Duplicity. Prudence, Chen corrected. We extended the hand of friendship to every species we encountered. We meant it sincerely. But we kept the sword close at hand, just in case. Most civilized species appreciated our approach. The Arcturians, the Proxima Collective, even the Rigelian Tribunal, despite their initial suspicions. You've been in contact with the Rigelians. This news shocked Xelax more than the ships. The Rigelian Tribunal was one of the few powers the hegemony treated with cautious respect. We have mutual defense treaties with 17 different civilizations, Chen confirmed. Did your intelligence services miss that too? Xelax's inner membranes pulsed with growing dread. The hegemony had grossly underestimated these humans, not just their military capabilities, but their diplomatic reach as well. The Guardians themselves, Chen gestured to the massive vessels, are a synthesis of our technology and lessons learned from our allies. Hypertech hulls from the Procyon exchange, gravity drive cores based on Arcturian principles, quantum targeting systems inspired by Ta-Citi logic, all wrapped around cores of pure human ingenuity. And the moon. Xelax couldn't keep the awe from his voice. Chen's expression softened slightly, the first genuine emotion she'd displayed. Luna was our first and greatest guardian. We've been hollowing and reinforcing it for 70 years. It houses our central command, our largest shipyards, and our most advanced research facilities. But why hide all this? Xelax asked. Such power would deter any aggression. Would it? Chen raised an eyebrow. Or would it simply encourage others to strike before we grew stronger? No, High Commander. The most effective shield is the one your enemy doesn't know exists until they've already struck the blow. Xelax's tactical mind finally finished its calculations. His fleet had no chance. None whatsoever. What are your intentions, Admiral Chen? That depends entirely on you, she replied. The Vistran hegemony has committed an unprovoked act of war against humanity and our allies. You've killed nearly 19,000 civilians. Under galactic law, we would be justified in responding with overwhelming force. The unspoken threat hung in the silence between them. However, Chen continued, humanity prefers peace when possible, so I am authorized to offer terms. Terms? Xelax repeated cautiously. The hegemony will immediately withdraw all forces from what you call the Orion expansion zone. You will acknowledge human territorial claims to all currently settled systems, plus a buffer zone of 10 light years beyond our outermost colony. Impossible. Tevik burst out. A High Council would never. The hegemony will pay reparations to the families of those killed in your attacks. Chen continued as if Tevik hadn't spoken. You will submit to monitoring by a joint task force comprising representatives from Earth and the Rigelian Tribunal. And if we refuse? Xelax asked, already knowing the answer. Chen's expression was almost sympathetic. Then we demonstrate exactly why ancient human myths portrayed dragons as forces of unstoppable destruction. As if to emphasize her point, one of the smaller Guardian vessels pivoted slightly and fired a single focused beam at an uninhabited moon orbiting a gas giant 2 million kilometers distant. The beam, a brilliant blue-white lance of energy, struck the moon. The entire satellite, a body nearly 300 kilometers in diameter, simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris field. It simply vanished, leaving not even dust behind. Dimensional phase shift technology, Chen explained casually. It doesn't destroy matter so much as relocate it to where even our scientists aren't entirely certain. Kezalax felt his legs grow weak. The hegemony had nothing remotely comparable to such weaponry. Even the theoretical models in their most advanced research facilities couldn't achieve such results. I require time to consult with the High Council, he managed. Of course, Chen nodded. You have 6 Earth hours. During that time, your fleet will remain in its current position. Any attempt to flee or to attack will be considered a rejection of our terms. The transmission ended, leaving the command deck in stunned silence. This can't be happening, Tevik whispered. A primitive species, hiding such technology. They're not primitive, Salax realized. They never were. They simply let us believe they were. For the next 5 hours, Salax attempted to contact the High Council. Every transmission went unanswered. Whether due to human jamming technology or some other interference, he couldn't be certain. In the end, the decision fell to him alone. Just before the deadline expired, Salax requested to speak with Admiral Chen again. The Vistran hegemony accepts your terms, he stated formally when her image appeared. I take full responsibility for the attacks on your colonies and offer my personal surrender. Chen studied him for a long moment. Your personal surrender is not required, High Commander. Return to your people. Tell them what you've seen here. Tell them humanity desires peace, but is prepared for war. You're letting us go. Salax couldn't hide his surprise. With escorts to ensure your direct return to Vistran space, Chen confirmed. Consider it a gesture of good faith. The first of many, I hope, between our peoples. As the Vistran fleet began its long journey home under the watchful eyes of 3 Guardian vessels, Salax stood alone in his private chambers, staring out at the stars. The hegemony had expanded unchecked for centuries, encountering only token resistance or outright submission. Until humans, until dragons. His communication console chimed, indicating an incoming message from the escort vessel. Expecting Admiral Chen, Salax was surprised to see a different human on the screen. An older male with pale skin and eyes that crinkled at the corners. High Commander, the human greeted him. I'm Professor Emerson, xenohistorian. Admiral Chen thought you might have questions during our journey. Just one, Salax replied. Why dragons? Of all your mythological creatures, why choose that particular image for your war fleet? Emerson smiled. An excellent question. You see, in most human cultures, dragons weren't simply destroyers. They were guardians of knowledge, of treasure, of entire realms. They slept peacefully for centuries, until disturbed. And then, Emerson's smile faded. They reminded the world why they were feared. But once the threat was eliminated, they returned to their slumber, guarding what they valued most. And what does humanity value most, Professor? The same thing the Vistrans probably do, beneath all the conquest, Emerson replied. A future for our children among the stars. We'd prefer that future to be peaceful. As the human's image faded, Salax turned back to the viewport. Somewhere ahead lay Vistran space and a very difficult conversation with the High Council. Somewhere behind, humanity's dragons watched, waiting to see whether they could return to their slumber. Salax hoped, for everyone's sake, that they could.